All right, so we are about a month out from the 96th Academy Awards, and I meant to make this video a few weeks ago talking about all the actors, actresses, directors, and everyone that has been nominated, but I did not get a chance to do so, so I'm super late in making this, but I still wanted to get my thoughts on paper or on screen, and so I just sort of going to record a super quick video here, just kind of recording my screen, just talking through all the nominees, either sharing what I think should win or what I think will win. No real structure here, just want to talk through and just kind of review everything. So let's jump right into it. Starting with actor in a lead role, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colm Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Love seeing Jeffrey Wright up there. That's super exciting. So my first thought when I go to this is immediately Cillian Murphy, and I think a lot of people are thinking that as well. Not only do I feel like he's the one that is going to be picked, I feel like he might be the most deserving here. The only other person I would choose would be Bradley Cooper. And I know there has been so much hate about Bradley Cooper and how the whole Maestro role was just to win an Oscar. That's a whole nother video in and of itself because I have a massive problem with that notion just to begin with. I think that's a very weird thing to get mad at someone for. I think he gave a fantastic performance. Carey Mulligan outshined him in every scene, but that doesn't discount what he was doing. I think everyone in that movie was fantastic. I thought it was a really good movie, and I thought he was great in it. He clearly had so much passion behind that. And okay, if he wants to win an award, that's great. I don't think he should be punished for wanting to do that, assuming that's what he even wants. I mean, that's kind of been imposed on him. Anyway, going off topic, that's not the topic of this video. I'll make a whole nother Bradley Cooper Maestro video, but I think Cillian Murphy is definitely going to take this one home, and I think he definitely is the most deserving, but I think Bradley Cooper also has a good chance to win that as well. Next, we have actor in a supporting role. Love to see Sterling K. Brown on there. That was kind of a surprise to me. Also, I was a little surprised by Ryan Gosling. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but that kind of shocked me a little bit. The one I would love to win would be Mark Ruffalo here. I think his performance in Poor Things was so off-brand for him, so creative and hilarious, and just made every scene that he was in better. But at the same time, okay, I missed Robert Downey Jr. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. gave a fantastic performance. I think my guess would be he's probably going to be the one who wins. I think he has the best chance to win. The only other person I would say would be maybe Robert De Niro, although I didn't think his was one of his best performances, nor was it one of the best ones of the year. I thought he was great. I thought he played quiet evil really, really well. But I liked Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of evil a lot better. And my just personal favorite, which is Mark Ruffalo. So if I could pick who I want, I would say Mark Ruffalo, but I think Robert Downey Jr. is probably going to take it, and that is great. I think that is well deserving. Actress in a leading role. Oh yes, Nyad, the movie that everybody saw. I literally had not heard of this movie until the nominees came out. I had to look it up and realize Jodie Foster was in this movie, and it seemed like a great movie, but like I had never even heard of it. Like I swear, do the Oscars just intentionally try and find a movie that no one has seen and always nominate it? Because it's every year there's just an egregiously unknown movie that they are just pushing that no one has seen, and I feel like this is that movie this year. There's a lot this year, but I think this is definitely that movie. So I know nothing about this movie. I know nothing about Annette's performance. I'm sure it was fantastic. Can we talk about anyone other than Lily Gladstone? I mean, I feel like she's the one who's going to take it. That being said, okay, literally, as you'll notice a trend, as I'm reading down the list, I'm like, oh, but she's good too. Oh, but she's amazing. So I'm going to go back and forth a lot on this. Emma Stone, I think maybe was my personal favorite of the year. I thought she just did, such a creative, eccentric, amazing performance. And she just carried that movie on her back. At the same time, Carey Mulligan outshined Bradley Cooper in every single scene she was in. She carried this movie. I mean, just her short little monologue in the back half of the movie was so powerful. I just think she was absolutely phenomenal in this. And then with Sandra as well, Anatomy of a Fall, she was really, really good. She's not at the top of my list to win, but that's not discounting her amazing performance. But to me, it's these three ladies right here: Emma Stone, Carey Mulligan, and Lily Gladstone. I wouldn't be mad with any of these. Honestly, I'd love for it to go to Lily Gladstone. I just feel like it was such a subtle, subdued, background performance that was at the forefront of the movie, right? I mean, like, she didn't have the most lines, but she carried that movie. So I would love for her to win. Maybe her, and then Emma Stone, and then Carey Mulligan. But yeah, I'm happy with any of those. All right, actress in a supporting role. We got Emily Blunt, Daniela Brooks, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster. There we go, Nyad again. Love it. And Divine Joy Randolph. Oh, man. I would say Divine Joy Randolph, and I think for both my personal pick, but also what I think is going to win. Just she already has so much steam behind her from winning. I think it was at the Golden Globes. Earlier in the year, I would have said Emily Blunt, and I wouldn't be mad if she won, but as more performances came out over the year, hers was not my favorite of all the performances. And I just think Randolph is just in such a good position to win and just did such a fantastic job in that role. So I would say she's who I think is going to win and who I would want to win, but Emily Blunt would be a great second option there. Animated feature film. I did not see a lot of these. I didn't see this, didn't see this, didn't see this, didn't see this. I did see Spider-Man. So I'm going to go with Spider-Man because that's the only one that I've seen. But based on what I've heard, this movie seems to be at the top of a lot of people's lists. So that one might be the one in the position to win. So that would be my guess for which one would win. But, personal favorite, I will go with the one that I've seen because that's the only one that I know. Cinematography. Honestly, if I were to think of cinematography, the first film that comes to my head would be The Zone of Interest. And that might seem weird because there's nothing really grand going on in that movie, but just the way that they shot it guerrilla style, the way that they shot it was not the most glamorous. It was not the most exciting, but it was the most effective, I feel. And so for me, my pick would be The Zone of Interest. Obviously, that's not on the table, so I'll have to pick something else. I guess my first choice might be Poor Things because of just the creativity behind the cinematography. I mean, it just had that Yorgos Lanthimos fingerprint and stamp on it that I just love personally. I love the way he films his films. It's just so creative and interesting, and I just love it. So he might be at the top of my list, but then again, Oppenheimer was really, really good. Though I would credit more of the editing to the film, just if the fast pace and all of that. I don't know if that's necessarily attributable to the cinematography. Maestro, the cinematography doesn't jump out to me in this movie. It feels very by the numbers. Great. And again, all these are nominated for Oscars. They're all really good. So if I'm trashing on one, it's not because it's bad. It's just not as good as the others. And apart from the wonder of him conducting, nothing really jumps out in this movie. Killers of the Flower Moon, maybe that one actually is the one that should win. As I'm reading through these, I mean, it is so beautifully shot and just so well done. But as I think about it, there's not one shot that really sticks with me. Again, I need to see this movie again. I think if I were to watch it again, it would easily make it into my top 10. Spoiler for my top 10 list. I just feel like I need to see it again. There was so much to digest. There was so much to chew on. I feel like I missed a lot of this movie, and I just need to kind of go through it again. So I think once I rewatch this one, I'll have a different opinion on it. Not saying I didn't love it. I absolutely loved it on my first watch, but I think I'll love it even more on a second. But my guess for cinematography will be Killers of the Flower Moon is what will win. What I would like to win would be Poor Things. Moving on. All right, so costume design. We got Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Off the top of my head, I feel like Barbie is definitely going to take this. Maybe Napoleon. The outfits were good in Napoleon. That movie was just so forgettable. Oppenheimer, nothing jumped out to me. Killers of the Flower Moon, same thing. Nothing really jumped out. Poor Things and Barbie are really at the top of the list for me. I mean, I have a preference towards Poor Things, but I feel like Barbie's a good bet of what will win and what I want to win. Honestly, I have no problem with Barbie, so I'll just say Barbie. All right, now the big one, directing. We got Anatomy of the Fall with Justine Triet, Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, and then Zone of Interest from Jonathan Glazer. What a list, man. I mean, seriously, this is so good. I mean, what a lineup of movies. And this is the first time I've actually seen all the movies that are up for directing. I feel like every year I'm always missing, several of them, or I've only seen one of them or two of them. But this year I've seen all of them, and these are all fantastic. I would not be mad at any of these. But if I had to pick one, the one that I would probably lean towards would be Poor Things. Just personally, that's the one I enjoyed the most out of the bunch of these films. But at the same time, I think it would be amazing for Christopher Nolan to walk away with an Oscar. I think he's really deserving of it with Oppenheimer. I think it is a magnum opus of the films that he's made. But then at the same time, we got The Zone of Interest from Jonathan Glazer that was just truly transcendent, horrifying, and such a risk, I feel. I feel if I were to look at all the films that came out this year, the person who took the biggest risk would be Jonathan Glazer, I believe. I mean, the film's subject matter, what it's talking about, what it's dealing with, is something I think most people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So I think that counts for something, definitely, of him doing that. But I got to go with Poor Things. I'm just such a massive, I'm a Lanthimos head, if you want to call me that. I just love his stuff. And so personally, I'm going to go with him. But I believe... Oh gosh, I don't know. I should have prepped this video, because as I'm going through this, I just keep going back and forth on what I think will win. I want to say Christopher Nolan will win, but Marty, I mean, I feel like he's got the energy going right now. I feel like he could really walk away with this, or scoot away, as he is one to do, with the Oscar here, because he's got so much momentum behind him. You know, I think it would be a great story, him kind of capping off his career. Not saying he's done. I mean, the dude is, still going 100 miles an hour. But, like, I just think it would be nice to, give him something for such an accomplishment of this movie. So I don't know. If I had to guess which one would win, it would be either Martin Scorsese or Oppenheimer. That would be my guess. Moving on. Didn't watch any documentaries, because documentaries are for nerds. No, I'm kidding. They're great. I need to watch more of them. That's an error on my part. All right, film editing. We got Anatomy of the Fall, The Holdovers, Killer of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Right off the bat, Oppenheimer. No question for me. I feel like that was such a well-edited movie. It made a 3-hour biopic feel like an hour and a half. That is astounding. You could say it moved too fast. Like, you can critique it all day long, and I might not even disagree with some of that. But I just think the fact that it made this such a fast-paced film on such a slow topic is really astounding, and it did it well. It didn't feel rushed. It breathed when it needed to. So I don't even need to look at the others. I'm Oppenheimer all day long. International feature film. Okay, I have not seen this one, have not seen this one, have not seen this one, and have not seen this one. All three of these I plan on watching this next week. But gosh, I just hate how the Oscars do this. Like, they nominate movies that no one has been able to see. Like, this one is coming out into my local theater this next week. It's February. This movie came out last year. Like, how in the world have we not been able to see this before now? Anyway, I digress. The only film of these I've seen has been Zone of Interest, and that I adore that movie. So as of right now, I think it would probably win, even if I've seen all these others, but it remains to be seen. So as of right now, I will just go with Zone of Interest and move on. Makeup and hairstyling. We got Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. I'm going to go Maestro here. I feel like the makeup and effects for, I say effects like it's VFX. The makeup and hairstyling for Bradley Cooper, as well as Carey Mulligan. Hers was very subtle, but they really old ladied her up, and I think it worked really good. But Bradley Cooper's makeup was fantastic. Everybody was clowning him for, like, the nose and, like, all this stuff. I thought he looked great. If you see a side by side of him, next to Leonard, I think damn near 1 for 1. I think it's really, really good stuff, and very immersive. I think that's the main thing. It's like, I lost Bradley Cooper in the role. Not when he was young. It was very clearly Bradley Cooper. But as he got older, that was not Bradley Cooper. He just disappeared into it, and I really, really enjoyed that. Really loved that. So I think that's the one for me. And I think that will win. I think both. I want that one to win, and I think it will. Okay, music, original score. This is the tough one. We got American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Interesting. Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and then Poor Things. To be honest, I don't remember the score from American Fiction. Nothing about that score jumps out to me. At the same time, I would say the same thing about Indiana Jones. I mean, obviously, I know the Indiana Jones song, but I've seen this movie twice this year, and I can't remember any of the music from it. None of it sticks out to me. Don't know why this was here. This feels really weird. So the only three I would contend with, or say are real contenders, would be Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Of these three, Killers of the Flower Moon was not a notable score to me, and nothing jumps out to me as memorable from that. The one of these two that I would love would be Poor Things. It had such a eclectic, such a quirky score to it. I thought it fit like a glove with the movie. But let's be honest, what's going to beat Oppenheimer? Ludwig Göransson absolutely killed it. I mean, this dude out Hans Zimmer, and I just thought he did such a fantastic job. So I feel like there's no pick other than Ludwig's score for this film, both in what I think is going to win and what I would love to win. I think it's very well deserving. All right, music, original song, The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. What the hell is that? Oh, is that the Cheeto movie? They're nominating the Cheeto movie song. I mean, I can't laugh. I mean, I haven't seen the movie nor have I heard the song, so maybe it's a banger. Who knows? I'm Just Ken. I Never Went Away. A Song for My People. And What Was I Made For? I feel like the one that's going to win is probably What Was I Made For, just because of the traction that song is already getting. I mean, I think it just won at the Grammys. It won previously. I want to say at the Golden Globes. I mix all those up. But it's won previously, and it's already been on kind of a hot streak. So I feel like that's a good bet, safe bet to make. Don't remember this song. Haven't heard this song. I feel like it's going to be one of the Barbie songs. I feel like that's an easy win for Barbie. They were both very creative songs, fun songs. I'd love for Ryan Gosling to win. I think that'd be cool. But I feel like this is a good safe bet. But overall, don't really care. All right, the big one. Best Picture. We got American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie. Barbie's Best Picture? Really? Sorry, I didn't realize. I must have forgot. I did not realize Barbie is in for Best Picture. That's wild. The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. This is the first year I've seen all these films. I'm very excited to say I have seen all of these films. Now let's go down the list. American Fiction. I really, really enjoyed this film. I don't think it's Best Picture material. That's just me. I don't think it hits that standard. Anatomy of a Fall. That could definitely win. And if it did, I would not be mad. You would not hear me, ranting and raving about it winning. I think it's a great movie. One of the best courtroom dramas I've ever seen. So creative, and really, really like it. Is it my top pick? No, but it's up there, and I think it's really, really good. Barbie, shocking to me that it's in Best Picture. That makes no sense to me at all. I mean, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, the first time I saw Barbie, I was very mixed on it. Wasn't sure. Second time I watched Barbie, I really, really liked it. It took 2 viewings for me to really get into it. I don't know if I'll still like it as much on a third watch. I feel like over time, the way it's set with me, I might like it less, but I still think it's a great movie. I am not knocking Barbie. The Barbenheimer trend was one of the most fun things to happen in movies in my lifetime, probably. And I think that was something, no doubt, that movie studios will try and capitalize on again. So I have no hate towards Barbie. I think it was a great movie. But I Best Picture, are you joking? Like that seems a little crazy. But I don't know. That's just me. The Holdovers. I would honestly kind of say the same thing about The Holdovers. I thought The Holdovers was fantastic. I think it was a great film. One of the best Christmas films in years, probably the best Christmas films in years. It made my top 20. I think it's really, really good, but in no way does it beat all the movies that come down here below. And I think a lot of people will disagree with me on this, because I think a lot of people really liked this film. I was not one of them. I was not one of them who thought it would beat out any of these, right? It's like, I thought it was a fantastic film, not beating Killers of the Flower Moon, not beating Oppenheimer. Get right out. But that's just my opinion. You're welcome to have your own. All right, Killers of the Flower Moon could easily win Best Picture. I think this one this could really easily win Best Picture, and I would not be mad about it. Maestro, I just feel like there's no shot this is winning Best Picture. I feel like the only thing Maestro would be getting might be Best Actor, but then you got to go up against Cillian, which is kind of difficult. So I feel like Maestro's not taking it. I don't see that happening. Oppenheimer could easily take it. I feel between Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer, you got 2 strong contenders right there. Past Lives, I don't think that's winning, and that breaks my little heart. Like, I love Past Lives, one of my favorite movies of the year. Just so emotionally just mature and tragic and just brilliantly written. One of the best scripts written in my recent memory. I mean, it's just like, it saw the 4 trilogy, it saw In the Mood for Love, and it just said, hold my beer, and just made something just as beautiful, but in a very new and fresh way. So great. Such a great film. Not winning Best Picture. If it does, like, you will hear me scream from my living room if it wins. It would just jumping with joy, but I don't think it's going to win. Poor Things. I would say this wouldn't win, but the fact that it's already made so much traction at the previous other awards, there's a good chance it could win. And if it does, me as a registered Lanthimos head, I would be absolutely thrilled, but I just don't see that happening. Zone of Interest could win. Zone of Interest could win. This could be one of those like weird movies that just, you know, runs its way, you know, through the awards and just takes up all the, you know, this could be like the Everything Everywhere All at Once. Obviously very different style of movie, but a movie that's, you know, that's a little more challenging, that's a little different than what the Oscars usually chooses. So that could fit as well. But honestly, the two that I think are going to take it are Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer. I would personally like Oppenheimer to win, but honestly, I think it's a coin flip on either two of these. My guess would be Killers of the Flower Moon will win Best Picture, but it could be either one of these. I think is a safe bet, and I'd be fine with either one of those. Let's go sound. Let's see his. Okay, sound. Creator. Did not see that movie. I should have. Shame on me. Maestro. Mission Impossible. Dead Reckoning Part 1. Gotta scratch that out. It's not Part 1 anymore. Oppenheimer and the Zone of Interest. Sound design. I would go Oppenheimer easily. I think Oppenheimer had some of the best, kind of in conjunction with music, just some of the best sound design. It was just so well done. The sounds are so visceral and clicky and just so great. Just loved it. So Oppenheimer should definitely take sound. For visual effects, we got The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians 3, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, not Part 1, and then Napoleon. Okay. Well, okay, I will give it that. Napoleon, one of the best things of that movie was the visual effects of the fighting and the battles. It really was well done, and it looked gorgeous. Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1 was a phenomenal film. One of the best films of the year, and certainly one of the best visually pleasing films of the year. It looked so good. And when you look at the budget they had to work with, it's just astounding. So I don't think there is any choice other than Godzilla -1, both in terms of what I think will win and in what I would love to win. Godzilla all day. All right, adapted screenplay. We got American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. I don't feel Barbie should win. I don't feel like Barbie's up there. I don't think Zone of Interest should win. I mean, it's not that the script was not phenomenal, but I need to get clearer on what adapted screenplay means. But I guess I just don't feel that the writing was not the thing that jumped out to me in Zone of Interest. It was the story, and yes, the writing, obviously, but not. I don't know. I can't articulate my thoughts, which is the problem as I'm making a YouTube video. But I just don't feel Zone of Interest or Barbie or American Fiction really should all be included. I think it really comes down to Oppenheimer or Poor Things. I think I wouldn't actually include Poor Things in the script. I mean, as much as I loved the script, the screenplay, I don't think it beats out Oppenheimer. I would go with Oppenheimer for this one. I think it's an easy choice. And all right, writing original screenplay. Final choices, we got Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December. Hey, there we go. And Past Lives. Okay. I would love Past Lives. Again, we've been over this. I would love for Past Lives to win. Don't think it's going to win. May December. Interesting to finally see this movie in here, which I meant to mention above. Charles Melton deserved to, first of all, he just deserved to be nominated for supporting actor. The fact that he wasn't even nominated is egregious. He deserved to be nominated, but he deserved to win. I mean, his performance, despite being surrounded by two women who command the screen every second that they show up, Melton's quiet, subdued, and simmering performance led to a performance that was just the perfect counterpart to them and just perfectly captured the feelings of his character. I just thought he absolutely knocked it out of the park. And it's a travesty and a tragedy that he was not included in this. Again, not that big a deal, but it was, it was a shame that he should have gotten some recognition for that. But it is nice to see May December included here. We've got Maestro, Holdovers, and Anatomy of the Fall. So obviously I want Past Lives to win. I don't think May December is going to win. I feel like it's either going to be The Holdovers or Anatomy of the Fall. And I would personally go with Anatomy of the Fall. I think it was the writing in that film that really elevated it. It was the way that it structured its story. It was the way that it told the story it was dealing with that was so effective. So I feel like it's going to be Anatomy of the Fall or Holdovers between these two. But I would personally go with Anatomy of the Fall for my personal favorite. But we'll see. Okay, so there we go. Easy. Beautiful. All right, so I all of that was just shooting from the hip. I mean, like, I don't hold me to any of my nominations there unless I'm right, and then, you know, I planned it all along and, you know, really put a lot of thought into it. But if I didn't, I was just shooting from the hip, which is exactly what I was doing that whole time. So if you've made it this far in the video, thanks. I really appreciate that, for you taking the time to watch this and listen to me ramble on a white screen, scrolling up and down. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Let me know some of your hot takes in the comments below. Like, of all the categories that we talked about today, what are some ones that you think are going to be upsets? What are some people that you think are going to be ignored? You know, is Bradley Cooper going to sweep? Is this going to be a year for Maestro? Like, let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to talk this over. We got about a month before the Oscars, so let me know in the comments. Let's get that dialogue going. Let's talk about this before the event happens. And I'm thinking about possibly doing a live stream for the Academy Awards. We will see. I may do that. I may not. If you would want to do that, just let me know in the comments and I might do it, but we'll see. No promises. But anyway, thanks for making it this far in the video. If you did, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. More videos coming out soon. A best of 2023 will be coming out, as well as just a list of all the movies I watched and what my favorites were from last year. I watched over 300, so there's a lot of movies to cover. So definitely subscribe because you won't want to miss those. But again, just thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Really means the world.